Hey, Natasha Neese here, author of Rise Up and Rock, A Front Woman's Journey. And today we are going to read chapter 7. Now, today I'm going to jump around a bit in chapter 7. I've realized that I need to reformat this chapter. So thankfully, I'm going to be able to upload a new manuscript. And that's that. But here we go. Chapter 7, Shapeshifting. As summer gave way to fall, the tensions within the band thickened like the early autumn fog rolling through the valley. The unresolved struggles with JC's role had been brewing for months, and no amount of compromise seemed to bring peace. His insistence on being at the forefront and his reluctance to fully commit to playing drums left me trying to hold together a brittle foundation. Moreover, I could feel the ever-present resentment in the air and the passive-aggressive undercurrents that always lingered, thick and cloying, shadowing every rehearsal and every performance. Before our September 4th show at Roxy-Anne, I finally told JC that I wanted Mike to stay on bass permanently. I knew it wouldn't go over well, but it was necessary to give Mike the respect he deserved. Following that announcement, JC's frustration manifested in strange ways. He started motioning for me to move out from in front of his drums during shows, wanting more visibility. But no matter where I positioned myself, I was blocking some portion of the audience. I developed a bit of a phobia around it, and the worst part was that I could see it in the videos. What was once an effortless command of the stage had turned into second-guessing every movement, careful not to provoke. However, our show at Roxy-Anne that night turned out to be amazing. Mike and I had made a conscious decision to rise above the drama with JC and carry on, knowing that the show and the future of the band were more important than any one person's issues. I remember one song in particular, the Rain Song. Dominic played it exquisitely, capturing every nuance with tenderness, while Mike added a dreamlike quality on fretless bass that elevated the entire piece. We chose to close with it, although that infuriated JC because it did not feature drums. But it was a gentle, otherworldly lullaby, something soft and meaningful to send everyone off with. I'm so grateful we captured it on video, thanks to a quiet man named Greg, who became an integral part of our team. After the show, Greg and I would huddle in his small, dusty farmhouse, where his technical brilliance came to life. He'd pull up 4 camera angles on one screen, and together we'd select the best shots, layering and blending them into something both cinematic and psychedelic. It was more than just editing. We were turning the raw footage into a piece of art that preserved the performance and brought forth the magic of the night. Roxy-Anne and South Stage were the only venues I knew hosting live music because of their outdoor spaces, and shows sold out quickly due to the 6-foot distancing rule. But most of the world around us still felt the weight of isolation and restlessness. My inspiration deepened into the desire to bring large groups of people together in a way that felt safe, where they could dance, sing, and let the music lift them. I envisioned a large festival-style gathering under the stars where people could spread their blankets, sink into the nostalgia of the late 60s and 70s, and let Led Zeppelin's music be a bridge back to joy, back to community, and back to themselves. Through perseverance and the support of Jerry, the owner of the Jackson Wellsprings in Ashland, we made that vision a reality. Long before the Jackson Wellsprings became known for geothermal soaking pools and holistic events, the land was a revered ceremonial site by the Shasta, Takelma, Lakgawa, and Klamath peoples. Oral histories and cultural memory describe it as a neutral ground, sometimes referred to as the Valley of Peace, a place where intertribal conflicts were set aside in favor of healing, trade, and shared ritual. The mineral-rich waters were treasured not only for their restorative effects on the body, but for their capacity to cleanse the soul. Sweat lodges, prayer circles, and purification rites once echoed across that same terrain. Indigenous women traveled there to birth their babies in the soothing warmth of the artesian waters. It was amazing to imagine. Jerry had honored that legacy as well. Rather than exploiting the land for profit or commercial development, he had preserved its spirit, keeping it open and devoted to the community. Half of the land now welcomed campers and visitors using the pool, sauna, and steam room. The other half was home to the Men's Oak Temple and the Goddess Temple of Ashland, which was founded by my dear friends Jumana and Graylin. The temple stands as a sister sanctuary to the one in Avalon, Glastonbury, and is a place of prayer, service, and fierce inclusivity. Between the two temples, there were the great meadow, the open-air kitchen, and the Siamana stage, a communal space where magic could happen. The Siamana stage was built from massive stones and cradled by a steep hillside. It was flanked by the soft trickle of mineral springs, grounding us in ancient and elemental. There was something enchanting in the way the trees gracefully bent over the stage, limbs outstretched and swaying in the breeze as if dancing to their own lilting song. We sold out quickly, 200 tickets snapped up by a community excited to see Living Loving Lead and eager for connection. A man named Justin even arranged a designated driver bus to bring people to the show, and many shows to follow. Living Loving Lead was creating a swelling wave of enthusiasm and delight throughout the community. It felt like we had tapped into something larger than ourselves, and the momentum had taken a life of its own. This show, scheduled for October 9th, was going to be next level for us. We needed an impressive band photo for promotion, so I called my photographer friend, Debbie, again. We agreed to meet at the epic outdoor venue site for the photo shoot, the huge stone Siamana stage. As before, JC resisted participating. He didn't want to do a photo shoot with Mike. I made it clear that Debbie was being paid by the hour and that he needed to arrive on time and be ready. He pushed back at every step, and I honestly wasn't sure he'd show up at all. But he eventually meandered in, pouting, just in time to take his place in the arrangement we had already started setting up. Debbie looked at me and rolled her eyes. She already knew JC's reputation. We shot standing and sitting in front of the stone stage, and also spread out along the massive stair-stepped amphitheater. I loved the mythic quality of the space. It felt perfectly aligned with the Led Zeppelin vibe. The photos came out beautifully, except Dominic hated how he looked in every one. "I look like an arrogant ass," he said. I didn't reply, letting the words hang in the air, silently hoping he might hear the truth in them. His undeniable swagger on stage did indeed translate into challenging arrogance once he stepped off. Due to COVID, the hoops we had to jump through just to bring people together at that time was surreal. I hired people to enforce social distancing, 6 feet apart in line and throughout the audience. We did temperature checks at the ticket table, with forms asking attendees to commit to reporting back if they later felt ill, which none did. Security roamed the grounds, making sure blankets were spread apart just right, and that no groups exceeded 3. My friend Ed, the Edify podcast director, later told me that our Jackson Wellspring show was supposedly the largest COVID-compliant gathering in the state of Oregon that year. Before the music began, I spoke to the audience about the origins of the land, naming the tribes who had once gathered there, acknowledging them from a place of deep respect and humility. Standing on that stone stage, I felt the depth of that legacy in my bones. And then, when the music started, we all let go. The energy was amazing. The gravity of the place, the joy of the audience, and the state of the world was so much larger than JC's resentments and Dominic's arrogance. A highlight for me was 4 Sticks, which contained a wild staccato drum beat in the verses that was quite possibly Led Zeppelin's most primal sounding riff. But in contrast, the chorus released into a soaring, dreamy section with mythic lyrics. And when the owls cry in the night, oh baby, baby, when the pines begin to cry. The bridge vocals had a long ascending and descending vocal line where I could stretch into my power and control. I saw Dominic look over in that moment and smile at me, which touched my heart. Our success was intoxicating, and I felt my spirit rejoicing through every cell in my body and beyond, out into the trees and the distant mountain ranges. That show was the first time I had ever done a full wardrobe change, and its impact turned out to be far more powerful than I could have imagined. As I was quickly changing clothes side stage behind the fabrics we tied in the trees, I suddenly heard the band begin the first notes of our encore, Stairway to Heaven. The sound rang out through the evening air, and a stillness settled over the crowd like a benediction, reverent and expectant. But I wasn't ready yet, and a thrilling panic rushed through me. Peeking through our makeshift entrance where two panels met, I saw Mike holding the last note of the intro on the keyboards. Longer, longer, and longer. Looking back toward the changing room, anticipating my emergence. It was a brilliant, intuitive move, buying me just enough time and heightening the anticipation of the crowd as if it had been planned. When I stepped back onto stage, just in time to sing the opening line, the transformation was complete. Dressed in an all-white fringe ensemble that trembled in the night breeze, I walked into the moment with my whole being. There was a collective inhale from the crowd that said everything words couldn't. Graylin, standing front and center, burst into tears, and I felt it. The fusion of music, myth, and intention. Later, Dave from KSKQ Radio said something that captured the moment better than I ever could. I was in the back field with the grandmas and the kids when Natasha came out in her white leather Jesus Goes to Hollywood outfit and sang Stairway to Heaven. It was an amazing, beautiful, magical, mystical dream we all shared together. Another quote came on Facebook the next morning. Living Loving Lead creates an aura of joy that touches the souls of the audience, a true sign of artistry. That was it. That was exactly what I wanted to create. In a world that had become a relentless cascade of fear, division, and negativity, I wanted to send out a positive shockwave. I wanted to create a shared moment of transcendence where we all rose above the weight of the world, even for just a moment. That show was a rich weave of sacred place, artistic breakthrough, and embodiment of my own feminine power. It was a moment of initiation for me, of stepping into my visionary role, not just as a singer, but as a vessel for light. My friend Ilea, who was at the show, said, "Yes, Natasha has the voice, powerful, precise, and clear, but more importantly, the presence, a light that people see, hear, and need."